loved doing massage all the time. I really loved it, but I knew that I couldn't sustain it for like a really long time. And then when I really thought about it, I thought I actually don't want to as well. I want to do something less physical.
The Massage and Physical Therapist Talk Show, brought to you by Massage Warehouse.
Hi, sorry to interrupt, but just a quick cheesy message just to say, if you're really enjoying this episode, you're enjoying this podcast, please do like, subscribe and share. Subscribing to these podcasts really helps us as the Massage and Physical Therapist Talk Show book an amazing plethora of guests. If you subscribe, it means that we can plan ahead. We know who's listening. It means that we can attract the best guests and we can make the podcast the best it can possibly be. So thank you for enjoying and keep coming back and listening, and please do keep subscribing, keep sharing, and let's build this amazing community together. Enjoy the rest of the show. So welcome back to the Massage and Physical Therapist Talk Show, episode 19, and I've been reunited with old friend Claire King. Claire, how's it going?
Very well, thank you. Yeah, good, all good, yes. And as I just said to you very briefly, we have matching outfits on. We didn't do a memo, but we do have matching outfits. We've got 2 layers, green jumper, something cozier underneath.
That's it, and it's like a black sort of shirt underneath as well.
I've got a polo.
Yeah, but yeah, we've come matching. So anyone listening to today's episode on Spotify or any other kind of streaming platform, head over to YouTube and you can actually view our matching jumpers as part of the.
It's exciting.
It is. It's the most exciting part of today's podcast. So
no, not true, Chris.
Well, we'll let the viewers and the listeners decide that by the end of it. So,
exactly.
Very interesting chat today. But before I get into that, what's new, Claire? Anything been going on in your world?
I don't think there's anything new, but it's all good and it's busy, and which I'm always very, very grateful for. And so nothing huge to report. Just busy. So that's a really good thing.
I was going to ask, because obviously January is quite a tricky time for a lot of therapists, because I think you've got that lull after Christmas. People are watching the pennies, may have spent quite a bit over the sort of festive season.
Yeah.
Do you notice a big drop off during January?
Not really. I think because I treat babies a lot, and children, so they're always around and have issues and things, whatever the time of year. And also we do a lot of pregnancy as well, so late pregnancy, so that's always happening. So no, I don't have too much of a drop off actually. What about you? Do you find it a bit quieter?
It is quieter. I think because I work from a canal boat, obviously this time of year in general, it's a lot colder. It's
oh yes, of course.
Although when you're on the boat and the fire's on, it's actually something quite nice about it being chilly outside and
lovely,
stuff. But
cozy.
But I think people just obviously think, I don't want to be going out, in this weather or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think obviously anyone that maybe suffers with a bit of sort of that, like the January blues maybe as well. It's hard to get the sort of the drive to want to go out and look after yourself. I think people might feel that a bit more in January, even though coming to see people like us is obviously a great thing.
Exactly what you should be doing,
to kick the year off, and get going. So there is that side of it as well. Sometimes I think January can be really busy because you've got a lot of New Year's resolutions. You've got it's a good time to try and attract new clients.
Yes.
Because it's the whole, it's a new year. Yeah. Let's get some good routines going.
Totally, get the self-care going. Absolutely.
Yeah, so it just differs, I guess. But a lot of my regulars, they start back in around Feb, really.
Yeah.
But I quite like it.
I think also you get quite a lot of the scaremongering of like, it's the longest month in the year, which it totally is. Oh, sorry, that's my bell for my client with my lovely reflexologist. So if you can hear that in the background,
hey, well, this is that's the ping to say, look, I am busy.
Yeah. That's
There's
my
stuff
lovely
going on while
reflexologist. So she's got a client coming right now.
look at
But
this.
yes,
You're here
there's,
recording a podcast. You've got your
it's all going on.
reflexologist in doing sessions
Totally. But no, I was
simultaneously.
just going to say about January, there's, it is a long month, isn't it, financially? And then there's that whole, this is the saddest day of the year kind of thing that
Yeah, the whole
happens.
Blue Monday stuff and that. Yeah.
Yeah. But
Well,
we're in Feb now.
we're in Feb now and we're still here, so that's
Yeah.
always a good sign. And it's quite a good topic today because we're kind of looking at the word
Yeah.
change.
Yes. Yeah.
Um,
Is your massage career calling for a change?
Now,
Oh,
that's a question a lot of people probably ask themselves
yeah.
when, especially in the self-employed sort of world,
Mm.
because obviously, if you work a 9 to 5, you're just into that sort of regime of you just do the same thing every day.
Yeah.
Someone pays you, and you just
Yeah.
go in and do whatever you're told to do, kind of thing, and that's fine. In our world, obviously, we control how busy we are by
Absolutely.
the input we put into it, and obviously
Mm.
that creates the output. So it's down to us to keep busy.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But not just obviously being busy, but enjoying what we're doing as well. Because in this
Yes.
line of work, I think if we're not enjoying it, you don't put your full sort of heart and soul into it,
Absolutely. Yeah.
then you don't get the results and people go elsewhere.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I kind of, you know, if we're thinking about like considering, the question was considering changing roles or specializations, what are the common reasons? And that's one of the things I put, like fatigue and like not enjoying yourself as well. Because like you said, you've really, it is a real role where you need to be enjoying what you're doing.
I think, I don't know what we've probably discussed this in the past in previous episodes about our like sort of journeys and
Mhm.
our paths, our pathways into, what we're doing now. And it's funny because I've never set out to do lots of different modalities and you know, but I guess I just maybe get slightly bored and want to do new things.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'd be quite happy just being a deep tissue massage therapist,
Yeah.
and that's all I do. And I'm sure there's lots of therapists listening that just do one thing, and that's their speciality, and
Yeah.
that's just what they do.
Yeah.
But time does fly so fast, doesn't it? I think
Yeah.
back to when I did my training, in my first sort of Swedish massage training, or even before that when I did just like the sort of Indian head massage sort of and chair acupressure massage training.
Same. Yeah.
And you look back now and it's like over 10 years has gone by and it's just like in a flash.
Yeah.
Time
Mine's
is just,
22 since I first did
well,
22,
yeah,
22, 23. So yeah,
it's madness, isn't it?
yeah, it
How
is
time
madness.
goes.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've ever thought about it too much in a sense of, right, I've done that for long enough now, I need to do something else. It's always just been a gradual change, if you like.
Yeah.
Maybe the universe kind of just pulling you
Yeah.
in one direction or another. But, I remember when I did my first ever training doing so like Indian head massage and what else was I doing? I think Thai foot
Massage.
massage
Yeah.
maybe or
Yeah.
something. Just little things like that. So not the full Monty, if you like, just little special sort of
Yeah.
things. And then I was like, right, now I want to move on and do my full body level 3 training kind of thing. And then that took over for quite a while.
Yeah.
And then while I was doing that, I was a bit like, right, I know this now. And obviously, every time a client comes to me, I'm doing it and I'm learning. You can never stop learning, don't you? So
No, totally.
so then I was like, right, what else can I do? And then it was, right, well, my mum's a reflexologist. I'm really into it. So I want to be a reflexologist as well.
Yeah.
So then you do that training alongside while you're working, doing your
Yeah.
other stuff. I mean, it all complements each other nicely, doesn't it?
Yeah, totally.
But,
Totally.
you know, I've never like changed what I am in a sense of like being like, what, you know, advertise myself as a deep tissue massage therapist and then scrapped all that and then said, now I'm a reflexologist.
Yeah.
It's just I'm adding to what I do
Yeah. And I
rather than,
think, yeah, and I think that's great. And I think you know, it sounds like you've been kind of choosing things because you just want to, like, you want to add on, you want to keep adding on, and out of interest. That's the other thing I said, like, you know, another reason is that you're curious and you want to change things up a bit and learn new things. I did it because, well, the first time I did it is because after my second child, I decided that I couldn't do massage all day. I was just too tired. I knew that I was just too tired to do, you know, 4 or 5 deep tissue massages a day, because I was trained in sports as well. So I'd have those clients that would come to me for like really deep work, and I was like, I know that I can't do it. I can do some of it. And that's why then I trained to do facials, because, and it literally came out of a need to sit down. And so that's how I decided it. But actually then, you know, I did the 1-day training on the facial stuff, and I was like, right, how can I basically be the best? How can it be like really good? Like, what's going to make people come to me? And I was like, well, I will massage their faces, and that's what I'll do. And it was kind of when it all started up, the whole face pummeling scenario. And so that's what I did. I was like, well, I'll use my massage skills, and do a facial. And so it came out of a need to not be as physically taxed, because I knew that I couldn't do that.
And that's quite a common subject that I see all the time, you know, on Facebook. I see
totally
people
on the group, on
people asking all the time, saying, how do people manage to just do massage all day, you know? And obviously people do it, but I don't know how long, you know, you can do it. Like, can you do it forever? I mean, you see old men on building sites that have been working all their life on there. I mean, there's ways to do these things.
Absolutely.
But I think the answer to that is that if that's what you want to be doing and doing that all the time, you've just got to look after yourself, haven't you? I mean,
absolutely,
because
you've got to find ways to physically, look after
and
yourself,
that is by putting sufficient breaks in between each session, and not trying to do too many in one day. You know, making sure your posture's correct throughout, you know, so you don't end up, because as soon as your back goes, that's it. You know, you're done for.
We've all had, well, I don't know about you, but I've definitely had those days when I got to the end thinking, what have I just done? I've literally stood in a most ridiculous way, like just got myself in a weird habit. And then at the end of the day, I'm like, oh my goodness, this is awful. You know, it's a quick reminder that cannot happen.
And
but
it's all well and good, isn't it? Thinking, oh, I've just made a fortune today. I've done eight sessions in a day, and it's like great money when you look at it like that. But you've got to be thinking, but what am I going to do when I'm in, you know, when I'm older? And you know, how long am I planning to actually work for before I look to retire? Like, what's realistic?
Yeah, and I think it's really good, you know, to look ahead as well. Like, as in, it's, you know, I loved doing massage all the time. I really loved it, but I knew that I couldn't sustain it for like a really long time. And then when I really thought about it, I thought I actually don't want to as well. I want to do something less physical. So I kind of just looked ahead, like what would be my ideal scenario, and that's how I came to choose to train in the craniosacral therapy. And that, I mean, I was curious about it, and you know, I wanted to train in osteopathy, but I couldn't do the degree. So I was like, right, what else can I do? And again, that came out of a need to kind of work for as long as I can, knowing my limitations as well. I have scoliosis, so I know that, you know, things had to change, you know. So it comes from different things, doesn't it? The change.
I think in this sort of well-being under this well-being umbrella, if you like, because it's such that's a big word, and there's so many different things under that umbrella that you could do. There's so many choices and options out there. So I think the most positive thing anyone can take from this kind of subject is that the world is almost your oyster with where you want to go and what interests you might have.
You think about, like you said, there's so many therapies. I often have people say something to me about a therapy. I'm like, oh, I've never heard of that. And I feel like I've heard of a lot of therapies, but there are so many new things being created. And I think, you know, if you're looking to change, like really investigate and research and see what gels with you. And do you have the time? Like, have you got the time commitment to be able to train and like be the best? And you know, but there's so many different therapies that I think if you're feeling about having, you know, you're wanting a change, then there's definitely, like you said, the world's your oyster, really.
I think the worry is that it always comes back to, people just like a good old massage, don't they? And then
Yeah,
you think, right, well, if I put all my time and effort into training into this new thing, are
yeah,
people actually going to come and
yeah,
enjoy it and have it? And is it going to be worthwhile,
yeah.
putting
And
that investment in?
that is definitely a leap. That is a leap of faith. And I wouldn't have been able to do it, you know, 15 years ago, but I definitely, when I moved into craniosacral therapy and then emailed all my clients and said your 1 hour massage will now become 50% craniosacral and 50% massage. I mean, I literally was so scared to write that email because I was like, oh my goodness, I'm going to lose everybody. But I hardly lost anyone. And I've retained a lot of clients, and of course then that allowed me space within my diary, but also headspace to get more people in, like the newer clients that just want the craniosacral. But
I think,
it's a worry, definitely, for a bit. You kind of got to
well,
hold your nerve.
change in general is a worry,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah,
It's like that whole thing of putting your prices up. I mean, I put mine up in
yeah,
January because
yeah,
I looked at it before I came back in January, and I thought, I think it was like some of my costs on the marina for the boat had gone up slightly, and I just thought,
yeah,
hold on, when did I last? I've always
yeah,
been notoriously cheap compared to like any
right,
high street places and stuff,
yeah,
but
yeah,
that's just because I don't like charging too much when I don't think I just charge what I think it's
yeah,
my worth is,
yeah,
what I need, base it
yeah,
on
yeah,
my circumstances,
yeah,
not just what everywhere in the high street's
yeah,
charging, so I have to charge the same. I don't want to charge too little, but I wanted to put them up because I thought they've not gone up in 3 years. So I thought it's
it's
valid.
time.
And I wrote the email, wrote the text to a couple of regular clients, that come on like a bit of a monthly kind of bundle sort of thing.
Yeah,
Just sort of saying, listen, it's been 3 years, I need to put the prices up, and I was a bit like, ooh, a
but
bit
no
scared
one
to send
batted an
it.
eyelid,
No,
right? No.
no, everyone replied and was like, yeah, no
Yeah,
worries.
good for you.
And you
Yeah,
get a few that reply and go, yeah, I thought it was a bit cheap, mate. No worries.
yeah,
And
yeah,
do you know what I
exactly.
mean? I'm
Yeah,
thinking,
yeah,
hey, well,
yeah.
you could have always tipped me the extra if you wanted, if you thought it was that cheap. But anyway, but yeah, so it's never a worry. But I
No,
mean,
it's
I do worry though sometimes because there's got to be a ceiling, hasn't there? I know
yeah,
everything keeps going up and up and up, but
it definitely does. But yeah, I know
there's
what you
got
mean.
there's got to be a ceiling, hasn't there,
Yeah,
before it outprices people. So
yeah. Yeah,
um,
I guess it's a bit different because I'm in London. I don't know if it's a bit different. Everyone's always outpricing each other.
yeah,
Like it doesn't really not matter, but eh, you can kind of charge like what you want.
yeah.
I don't charge a ruthless amount, but you can do it.
But
You
again,
can
it's
do
down
it.
to
There's
your
enough
London. Cost of
people.
living's a lot
Yeah.
higher in London,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
your
yeah. There's
prices will
enough
be
people.
completely
Yeah.
different to probably
Yeah.
what mine are in the
Yeah.
South Manchester area,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but that whole kind of thing of putting the
Change.
price, yeah, it's
Yeah.
just change. It's just
Change. Yeah.
there, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I mean, I just to go off topic of actual massage, but I got into mindfulness and meditation, and I did training whilst doing the massage therapy at hands-on work.
Yeah.
I was going off doing training courses in the mindfulness in schools project, which is specifically aimed at teaching mindfulness in a kind of
Yeah.
engaging, fun format. It includes games,
Yeah.
it includes to kids,
Yeah.
and that for me was
Well,
such a
that's
lovely
huge, isn't
different.
it?
Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
big
But also
change.
to run, like you said, there's so much, like the world's your oyster. There's so many different therapies. That is a therapy. And it's running alongside. It's got this lovely kind of, parallel journey that you're going on and things cross over. But then you've got two different things. Like if you're a person, I don't mean you, but, if you're a person that it needs different stuff, like variety. And I think that's what change comes from a lot as well. Like as much as I loved doing massage, I loved that bit of being able to say, right, well, I'm doing 3 facials today. That's great. Like that's different. It's that variety, isn't it?
Well, I thought because when I was looking at it, obviously there's the cost involved with doing the training, but in my mind, and then you don't know if you're ever actually going to do it much to recoup them costs
Yeah,
or what.
yeah, totally. That's
But
always a leap of faith.
I was just thinking, I wanted to learn something new. It was
Mm,
something I was interested in,
yeah,
and I thought, worst case, I spend this money training in it, but I'm going to learn a lot
Yeah.
that I'll utilize with my clients on the boat. You know,
Yeah.
doesn't matter that it's training, teach. I'll be honest, when I did this training, because it was aimed at kids, it was really simplified. And I feel like that's how adults need to learn things like
Yeah.
mindfulness and meditation, because
Absolutely. Yeah.
it really dumbed it down to a point where it made sense.
Yeah, because sometimes it can be a bit overwhelming, I
Yeah,
think.
of course it can.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
adults, you know, have so much going on that you try telling them to just stop for a moment and breathe
Yeah.
and blah blah
Yeah.
blah. They're
Yeah.
thinking, well, I ain't got time for that.
Yeah.
So I thought learning this stuff, even if I never ended up doing it much as an income,
Yeah.
I'd have the skills that then I still use to this day with my
Yeah.
clients on the boat, just helping them relax at the start and at the end of a session,
Totally.
grounding.
Totally. Yeah.
So, and then obviously it's a learning expense, but it's a business expense. So obviously with,
Totally.
you know, so things like that, you've got to think, well, my tax bill's due at the end of the year. You know,
Yeah.
I'm allowed to spend a certain amount on furthering
Yeah.
myself,
Often it's quite helpful to, to
do
be
you know what I
spending
mean? It's
that.
like
Yeah.
you've got to kind of look at it and think, well, I'm spending that money anyway,
Yeah.
pretty
And
much.
like you said, like even if you're not using it at that moment in time, you either will do, going forward, or you will just learn something personally. Like, like you said, just to pass on to your clients. Like, someone comes in, they're really panicky, they're having a terrible day. You start by doing some breathing and some visualization, and that's it. You're like, already then your client experience then is so much better. So yeah,
100%.
you're
And I
always
often
learning.
I might have clients saying, "Oh, my child's having a rough time at the moment," blah blah blah, and then I can say, "Oh, well, I've
Yeah,
try this, try that," and then it's
totally.
almost like it just gives an extra, like
Yeah,
you say, an extra worth to the
layer.
the
Yeah,
session that they're coming
yeah,
for. It's not,
yeah,
they're leaving with much more than just having that
yeah.
1 hour session that they're having. They've kind of left with some knowledge, some experience.
Totally. You're becoming more knowledgeable. And the often feedback, and see, we have a lot of experience, but even if you're starting out, if you're gaining a lot of knowledge and in those little snippets, because I'm sometimes surprised at what people, some basic stuff that people might not know,
Yeah.
which is fine, but you're then really knowledgeable, and that feels really safe for people, and that is just another part of like a really good client experience.
And people leave and they think, you know what, that was a really nice hour.
Yeah.
I just,
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to come back.
Yeah. So we're saying do the courses, people.
Well, you can never learn enough at the end of
No.
the day.
Yeah.
If you decide, oh, I fancy doing a bit of bamboo massage, and you do
Yes.
your course, you might have these bamboo sticks sat on the side in your therapy room and no one's booked on for it. But then one day someone will then just book on
Yeah. But
for it.
also, but also with things like that, and that's what I did with when I first started, craniosacral. I just practiced on my existing clients. I was like, fortunately I can offer more time because I've got my own room, but I'd be like, well, can I give you 15 minutes extra and I'm going to do this? And they're like, yeah, that's fine. Can I do my bamboo sticks on you? Can we do, it's people, especially if they're getting an added bonus, then people love it.
I think it's like with the reflexology. I mean, that was a game changer for me because obviously it was something again I was really interested in. It was something my
Yeah.
mum used to do on me when I was living at home as a child, and was a bit poorly or had a headache or whatever. My mum would be like, "Give us your feet, I'll do your reflexes." So, but I'm as busy now with reflexology as I am with the massage therapy. I probably sometimes have more clients for reflexology than massage.
Okay.
Sometimes it's a nice mix, but so that was a real positive change because it meant that some days I might be on, I'll look at my diary and be like, right, what am I doing today? And it'd be like, oh, a full day of reflexology today.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then I'm thinking, great, I'm literally sat
Yeah,
down
yeah,
all day.
totally. And sometimes you get those days where you think, oh, I really needed to sit down today.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like you just need those days. So I think variety is good. Like even if you're not going to like change completely, or maybe you want to, but if you don't, I think some variety is always a good thing.
I think we're almost with our sort of therapist insurance and stuff. We're almost pushed into change anyway because we get
Yeah.
asked to do CPD courses, don't we, and
Yes.
things
Yeah.
like that. And
Yeah.
it's for that specific reason, really. It's to
Yeah.
to keep your knowledge up on Well, there's no choice. You don't have to choose. Like, there's not like you've got to do this, this, or this. It's like for CPD, it's a massive, massive sort of
Yeah.
pool of things you could do
Yeah.
that qualify for that. You know, it's just further learning, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
But that kind of pushes you, doesn't it? I know you see people kicking off a bit with like FHT because they make you do that
Right.
every year. I don't even
Okay.
know. I mean, I can't remember. I don't think they've ever emailed me to ask. Let's see
Yes.
your CPD stuff. But I mean, I've got that much stuff there that
Yeah,
because I'm constantly
totally.
doing stuff that it's not like I'm like, oh, I hope they don't ask.
Yeah.
You know, if you're listening, FHD, bring it on. I've got my
Come
folder.
on.
I've got my folder of certificates ready and waiting for you to just ask, and I'll show you them all.
The Massage and Physical Therapist talk show is brought to you by Massage Warehouse. Run by therapists for therapists, we're committed to solving common issues you might encounter in your massage therapy practice. Here at Massage Warehouse, we understand how important your massage table is to you and how much you try to keep your table protected. However, accidents can happen. The last thing any therapist wants to see is an unsightly tear, rip, or mark on their table. Not only do these marks look bad, there is a chance that they will grow and cause even more damage to your table. Many therapists think they'll have to replace their entire table. However, we have a solution. Introducing our massage table adhesive repair patches, the simple way to fix tears and prevent further damage to your table. To use the patch, first clean around the area of the tear for any dust or dirt using a dry cloth. Next, peel off the back of the patch. After this, carefully apply the patch over the tear. Finally, smooth around the edges of the repair patch for a perfect application. And your table should be repaired and good to go. Our patches come in 3 different colours: black, navy and cream. We have different size repair patches available, and should you have a uniquely shaped tear on your upholstery, we can create a custom size repair patch for you. Check out our website massagewarehouse.co.uk to see the full range. Now back to the show.
So finding the niche is one thing, isn't it? Because
Yeah.
you know, rather than just willy-nilly thinking, right, I'm going to change. I'm bored of just doing Swedish massage all the time.
Yeah.
You know, it probably would be wise to just have a look what's going on in your area.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'd noted down. Like, do a bit of research. Like, what is it that you might, there's a few things you might want to change to, or, move into, what is happening in your immediate area, and, can you do it better, or can you charge? Also, I think it's financial as well. Like, if you're adding on something, and you do have a financial, we all need to earn money. Like, what is that? Like, does that work financially? Does the price of the course, like you said, does it kind of financially work out? Would it be wanted in your area? A little bit of research, I think, is always good.
Yeah, because if you choose something that's like really niche and sort of
Yeah.
there's not much evidence backing it and people don't really know what it is, then you're not going to be able to expect 100 people knocking at your door wanting to book in for something,
Totally. And I think, I had that a bit with craniosacral therapy, actually. I knew that it would be good and I knew that it would be absolutely fine. But it is a hard one to explain I definitely had a bit of that to start with, and a little bit like, oh, what have I done? But it's okay now. But yeah, it's definitely, yeah.
I think obviously that then comes down to advertising yourself, doesn't it? And putting information and making sure your website's up to date with blogs, with information about what this is that you're doing and
I
how
often
it's
do
going
a
to help.
lot of posts. What is craniosacral therapy? So it is okay, but it's definitely like a moment where be like, oh, I know I'm doing this thing and not loads of people don't know about it. Again, you got to kind of take the leap of faith, hold your nerve.
Yeah, and then put that effort into to promoting it and showcasing what it is. I mean, obviously everyone's on Instagram and stuff these days. Everyone's, you know, I mean, I'm crap with my social media stuff. You know, it's just hard keeping on top of it all. But
Oh, it is. Yeah.
if you're doing reels and stuff regularly and it's like videos showing what it is you're doing, you're gonna get people watching it thinking, God, I need that.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so
Well,
maybe
there's
on
always
them.
somebody that needs the thing you're doing. So it's
Yeah.
like, that's the marketing, isn't it? Finding your person, finding your niche person that you're kind of talking to.
So if you've chose this thing that that you really got a passion for wanting to do, and you really wanted to gradually change to doing that, you know, you put that time and effort into advertising it a little bit, film, if you know, a friend or a partner maybe that you can be doing it on, film some bits of it, put it, you know, put some nice reels together, show the world what it is.
Yeah, and
What
talk
you're doing.
about it, like keep talking about it to, you know, if you are going to do a big change, like I did from the massage to the craniosacral, then talk about it with your clients, talk about it to whoever will listen, send it out in your newsletter, like repeat in like a nice kind of gentle way, but you know, so you're preparing everybody and you're talking about what it is that you're going to be doing, and how great it's going to be.
And I think there might be a lot of people listening to this that if they are thinking of a change, it might be a change due to various factors like burnout, which seems to be the
Burnout.
common one,
Yeah.
physical sort of issues that are preventing you from physically being able to carry out a treatment or enough treatments a week to make it financially viable. So in them situations, obviously, what are your options? Well, the option you don't want to do, which is pack it in completely, which, you know, and go and work in an office somewhere, you know, and do a complete change. Some might want to do that, you know, that's fine.
Some might,
but that's probably a last resort for a lot of therapists, because obviously they're doing this for what, you know, the reason we're all doing it is because we love it. And we love how it makes other people feel, and it makes the world a happier place, blah blah blah. But there is other options, isn't there, other than having to just take a new job somewhere.
Yeah, and I just think, to reiterate what we said, I think if you are feeling burnout, then even a 1-day course to refresh what you're doing, get a slightly new technique, you know, change things up. Like I said, maybe it's that you go and do Indian head massage so that you are sitting down sometimes, you know, really kind of basic things like that, but they can really help just get a new kind of like a reframe or just a new lease of life. I've definitely done that with different courses, and then thought, actually, I really love, I'd gone from like loving something to like, it's doing my head in a bit, and then doing a course and thinking, no, I love this, you know, just learning and also having people practice on you as well, so you can feel what other people are doing. I always find that really, really beneficial. Like, I find that really, really helpful. And often that's been enough to kind of, for me to go, no, this is great. It's okay.
I think one of the joys of our line of work is, obviously, when you look at it, it is a good hourly rate, you know, compared to somewhere where you might just be working for 8 hours straight, you know, in a shop or in an office or whatever. So if you step back and look at what we can earn in an hour, I think you look at that because you're not meant to be doing it for 8 hours a day.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? The whole point, that hourly rate is that hourly rate because you're only meant to do a certain amount in a day.
Totally.
Which frees you up to do other things and look after yourself.
Yeah. And I think that's really, really important. Like, you know, if you feel like you're burning out, if you feel like you're getting like annoyed with work, like you're not looking forward to it, then take a moment, like really sit down and like write it down, look at your week. How many massages am I doing? And you might be like, how many massages am I doing? That's like, and I always think, like, if you said it to somebody, what are they going to say to you? Like, they might be like, that is too much. You can survive, you know, financially, hopefully, on slightly less, and look what that would do to your day. You know, that's, you know,
I think it just depends on your outgoings. You know, if you're renting like a space in a you know, imagine a city centre in London, if you were renting a treatment space, then obviously you've probably got quite high outgoings. I mean, everyone's circumstance is different. But for me, I'd much rather do 2 clients a day, Monday to Friday,
Yeah.
but earn enough then, doing it that way, and then having the rest of the time being able to, if I want to, go and sit in the sauna or the steam room at the gym for an hour beforehand, and
Totally.
that
I
then
think,
sets me up for the day. And
yeah,
then I'm excited and looking forward to every day.
yeah,
I might get to go
absolutely.
and pick my little girl up from nursery, and I fit that into my day as well. And then
Yeah.
it doesn't become a burnout day. It becomes an actual really nice, beautiful day.
Yeah,
And I've earned
totally.
enough, when you add it up over the week rather than
Yeah.
trying to cram it all in
Yeah.
and then it just be too much.
Yeah, too much. I think I've said it before on a podcast, like, I used to write down what is my perfect week, and I couldn't always achieve that. But I was like, what does my perfect week look like? What is going to feel good for my brain, my body, like my finances, and then just work towards it rather than overloading and like don't feel like you always have to say yes to a booking. I often used to be like, oh yeah, I can squeeze you in, and I'd be rushing back from somewhere, and then I was like, what am I doing? Like, it's,
Yeah.
I
I
think,
quite like,
burnout is,
yeah.
it's
I mean, I,
real.
I quite like breaking my week up with I mean, I don't really do home visits anymore. I do them for clients that are less mobile and sort of
Yes,
that wouldn't be
same.
able to get to
Yeah,
me.
yeah,
But I really look forward now to doing them when I do them because
yeah,
I'm not constantly doing them. So it
yeah,
breaks the week up nicely and it's
yeah. I
change of
agree.
scenery.
Yeah, I
Um,
agree. Yeah.
I
Again,
get
it
to,
comes back to variety, doesn't it?
yeah, and
I
I
think
get to
it's
stop
really
off at a
good.
coffee shop and grab myself a coffee, and I'm out and
Yes.
about, and it's
Yeah,
just, oh, I'll nip to the
yeah,
post office while I'm out, and do you
yeah,
know what I mean? It's just
yeah,
silly little things like that take away. It changes it in my mind, so it doesn't feel like I'm working that much because I'm in different places
yeah,
doing stuff. So,
yeah,
yeah, I mean, there's a lot to take on, really, isn't there? And I think, you know, obviously, you'll know if you need to change career paths
yeah,
because
yeah,
obviously only you know your own circumstances. If doing this job means your financial like income, you need to do 6 clients a day, Monday to Friday. And if you don't get them, then that's it. You've not earned enough money, and then you can't afford to pay the rent and pay yourself. Then you
yeah,
might need to be thinking, right,
yeah,
is this for me?
yeah, yeah.
You know,
Can I sustain it?
can I sustain this? Is this
If you can't, then what are the other options? But I always think, yeah, just if you're not enjoying it or you're thinking about change, just, yeah, pause, take a look at your week. Could a CPD course, spark your, excitement up again? And I just think, like you said, there's so many courses. And because they're an expense as well, like, yeah, just investigate maybe. Even like if you're starting to think, oh, I'm not sure, just, yeah, take a leap of faith and try one.
I think this is why sometimes it's quite nice to doing, like when you don't work for yourself and you work for someone else because
Yeah,
that mental load's been taken away because you just turn up and they give you the client
yeah,
list and people just turn up and you just do the
yeah,
work and it's called.
yeah,
So sometimes that's quite nice, and I know a lot of
yeah,
therapists that do that a couple of days a week.
yeah,
Work for someone else for slightly less money because they're not having to find the clients and pay the overheads and stuff.
totally. Because we have to do everything. If you're
Yeah.
working for yourself, that's it. You're responsible for everything, and it can be a lot. It can be overwhelming, definitely.
So maybe some people, if they're thinking of changes, if it is because of that issue of trying to do everything, and it's becoming a mental overload, and
Yeah,
it's not a physical thing. It's you might be tip top and can do what X amount of clients a week, but it's the mental overload and the draining
yeah,
sort of
yeah.
feeling of
Doing
organizing
everything.
it all,
Yeah,
just doing everything. Then
yeah.
maybe having a look at
Part-time something else.
yeah, or just see
Yeah,
what some on-site work. I mean, I've got a few
yeah,
therapists that work with me, and they go out to corporate companies and do just but they run their own thing as well,
yeah.
and they just do 1 day a week with me or 1 day a month sometimes,
Yeah, yeah.
just to
And
break it up.
also financially, it's good to have different streams, isn't it, as
Yeah, of course it
well?
is.
So the change can just come from that. And then before you might be doing like 5 different things, and before you know it, you've got your cash that you need for the month.
Yeah. Yeah, because you might be working as a Swedish massage therapist that does solely table treatments all the time. And you might think, you know what, I'm going to go and do a chair acupressure massage course for one day. And then I'm going to sign up with some agency. And then every now and then I'm going to go out to a local company in my area
Yeah.
and do some 20-minute chair massage sessions for random people in the office, meet some new people.
Totally.
And just have a nice day out.
One. Yeah, I think it's a great one, the seated acupressure. I used to love doing that. And also what I loved was seeing a new person every 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I really liked that. And I wouldn't get tired. Obviously, I'd be tired at the end of like 4 hours or 3 hours or whatever it was. But at that, like I'd get a buzz off seeing somebody every 20 minutes. And then I'd be at the end of the day, right, I've earned that much
money.
And
it went
That's
fast.
great. Yeah, it goes fast. Really fast. Yeah. So I think we're saying variety is good.
And the different income streams mean when one thing gets quiet, you've always got something going on, so that you're never going to be completely out of, with no work. And then the universe kind of finds a way of something gets busier, and you do that for a bit, and then that quietens off as your other stuff gets busier.
Yeah,
and it'll just become a nice.
Yeah, and it's a really, like, even now I have a couple of other things, like different clinic days, like just 2 or 3 a month that I do. And like if I get a quiet week, which sometimes happens, I'm like, oh, that's okay, because that bit's coming in a bit and that bit's coming in 2 weeks. Like it really does like help with the like brain drain, with your mental health, to know that things are just kind of, going along in a steady flow.
So I think we can agree, Claire, that we can kind of say that, listen, everyone, change is good.
Change is
and
good.
Can be good.
Yes. Can be scary,
whether it's a change that you're forced into or a change that you've decided to make, you've just got to go with it.
Yeah.
Trust your gut.
Yeah. And also be the best at it. Just try and be the best at it as you probably are with your massage, like whatever skills you've got, they're so interchangeable. And then just, go for it.
And anything you learn that's new is just going to complement all the other stuff that you do anyway. So it's never never see it as a waste, and see it as what a waste of money that course was. I've only done one client, in a year since I've trained in that. What a waste. And well, it's not a waste, because you're probably using a lot of the stuff from that without realizing in your other treatments and in certain techniques from it and stuff. So,
and also people like a new thing as well. So you might think, oh, what am I doing? Is this going to be okay? But actually, if you've got an existing client base, and even if you haven't, some of my posts that have had the most, like on Instagram and stuff, that have had the most, like looks and likes or whatever, are ones where I'm like, new treatments from Emily, who's my reflexologist. People love a new thing, like, oh, what's going on? So I would say it's always positive. A new thing, definitely.
So anyone listening, I hope this has inspired you to
yes, I'm going to be booking myself on another course very shortly.
Yeah, you know what, I'll be like that tonight, thinking I've got
what can I do?
It's funny, isn't it? I'll be like, right, what can I be doing next? What's next? Well, there's plenty of options out there, isn't there?
Yeah.
Well, Claire, we'll wrap that up there, because I think we've
spoken quite
talked change to death there, haven't we? But well, I'm certainly pumped up for something new now. So, well, it's been lovely to see you, Claire.
Yes, thank you.
And I'm sure we will be back soon with
hopefully matching outfits again.
Well, next time I'll text you first and just check, please. And I'll make sure we're colour coordinated again. But anyone listening, please make sure that you like and subscribe, and please do share the podcast to anyone you find might find it interesting. We've got loads of upcoming episodes planned in with some really interesting guests. So obviously, the more people like and share and subscribe, the more guests we can get involved. So it's been a pleasure. And
very good. Very good.
I look forward to the next one.
See you soon. All right. Take care. Bye. Bye.
The Massage and Physical Therapist Talk Show. We discuss the talking points that matter to you, the therapist. A lot of work goes into creating the talk shows, and we'd be very grateful if you can choose Massage Warehouse when shopping for massage supplies, so we can continue to create these amazing podcasts. Massage Warehouse is your one-stop shop for massage supplies and does great work supporting our wonderful community. Until next time,